Hello, I'm Dusty Knuckles and welcome to my channel. I today am just finishing my first cup of coffee and getting ready to start my day. Went through some bills and sorted some things out this morning, getting ready to work on the computer for a little while. I've been very busy the last couple of days sorting through a gross of Lab Series 2 pins that I purchased last week and showed in my previous video. But that's getting sorted out quite well. I'll go into that a little bit more after I do this package opening because I have been so excited to get to this package. It is the first gift I have received from the locksport community, and I actually have a little disclaimer there. I did know it was coming. It is from Mr. Albert Lebel. He does a drawing on his channel each week, or actually he shares a lock with his subscribers and supporters and shares that on his channel. And I did actually happen to see the video where he announced I was going to receive this gift from him. And it is a great honor both to be one of the first gifts I have received from the community and knowing what it is. So I will get right to the chase. I'm sure most of you know of Albert Lebel and have seen his signature pack lock on many a Lock Lab bench, and I am just absolutely thrilled to death. I think the custom signature locks are such a cool thing that pack lock does, and I've seen several people that are starting to get their own signature locks made, laser engraved. I'm still working on my personal logo, so I will be, let me look at this off, yep. But I will be getting some pack locks and stickers made as soon as I complete my signature logo. Here is the lock from Mr. Lebel, Big Al as people call him online, and he refers to himself. Oh, check that out. There's his card. If you are not familiar with Al, I will leave a link in the description. I can't imagine anybody not being familiar with him because he is a wonderful supporter of the locksport community and very generous with his time and obviously with his gifts. Oh, and one of his personalized stickers as well. And I tell you, this lock will go on my bench. I'm still working in the living room on my coffee table while I work on getting the new apartment sorted. Isn't that beautiful? And it is key retaining, it appears. Yes, indeed. But what a beautiful lock with his signature logo on it. Thank you so much, Albert Lebel. As I was saying, once I finish my workbench in my new home office, I will be moving everything in, and this pack lock from Mr. Lebel, I'm going to just keep that out right here for now, will hold a place of honor. And I do have to give a little bit of a disclaimer. I don't know when it arrived, and I'm going to actually call it a tie with Al's very generous gift of the pack lock. But I also received stickers from the Lock Force gang at S&E Lock and Key. I'm not sure when it arrived because I just threw it on my desk with my bills and mail and didn't quite realize what it was until I opened it this morning. it arrived. So thank you very much, Jason and Kim. I will give you a shout out on your next Lock Force Live on Saturday. I missed you this week. Today is Sunday. I actually received Albert's pack lock on Thursday, and I've been up to my elbows, like I said, sorting out all of the lab pins. Wasn't too bad. I started out in 3 basic batches with the bottom pins and the top pins, the point or the O3 series as they call them, are in red packages, and then the O5 numbered series is in blue packages. So that was very easy to separate those. And then I had top and bottom pins, which are distinctly marked with the T's and the B's. The bottom pins being the key pins, top pins being the master wafers and drivers. So I further separated the red packs and the blue packs into the top pins and bottom pins. Once I accomplished that and had them all laid out, I was able to break them down into basically 10 equal lots. Some of them had 1 pack, some of them had a dozen packs, some of them had 15 and 20 packs of each. Like I said, it was more than a gross. I think it was a gross of assorted pins. And fortunately, they are all in the little smart packs. I may be crazy, but I'm not crazy enough to buy a 10-pound box of pins and then have to sort them all out individually. I have the advantage of having the bags identified as to the size and quantity in each. Now, some of the smart packs, I'm not sure why or when the lab changed over, but some of them were in quantities of 75, some of them were in quantities of 72, some of them were in quantities of 100. The tubes are in quantities of 175, or 150, I apologize. So I did a little bit of basic math, and once I got it all, the numbers worked out, I realized that I had basically an even distribution in a quantity of 10. So I broke those down into lots of 10, and then I took a lot of 10 and further sorted it out, and each of those I generated a pack of 12 of each of these assortments. Bottom pins, wafers, top pins, driver pins, intermittent driver pin, which is kind of in between the wafers and the driver pins, so you've got a little bit of a choice as to how you use them there. Some more medium-sized wafers and driver pins, and then there are several sizes that are just huge. These are 0.355, but I figured of the 2 or 3 different sizes that were huge like that, I checked it out, and they chuck up great in a mini mill or in a Dremel. And I figured even though they may be too large for a lot of cylinders, they certainly are great for chucking up in a device and cutting some custom pins for challenge locks. So I've included an equal distribution in there of all the pins, some of them in quantities of 8 and 10, most of them in quantities of a dozen, 20, 24, and as I was sorting through them, I had a few odds and ends here and there. So about 1 out of every 5 bags has an extra 2 or 3 pins in them. So the labels I made up were the minimum quantities in each bag of 20 and a dozen and 18, just to keep them all standardized, but there's certainly more of each. If anybody's interested, if you want to get a screenshot or a capture of that, I'll put it up a little bit later at the end of the video too. If I'm able, I'll put a still shot of that at the end of the video. And those are the pins, all 0.115 diameter, and their quantities. It's roughly 30, I believe there are actually 31 or 32 different lengths. Over 460 pins. This did a little bit of math and calculation. I do not have a postal scale. So just a little rough calculation. I figured this weighs about 2 to 2.5 ounces. So maybe a little bit too heavy to ship through a regular postal envelope. But I may go through and knock a couple of these into half. I mean, even 4, 6, 8, and 10 of each of these different sizes is enough to gift to the community and to you, my subscribers. If you are interested in some pins, email me. My email is in my About section. I will be making some pins available to subscribers, and I will be gifting and trading some as well as I get them sorted. It does take a significant amount of time. It took me about 2 days to get all the individual packs sorted and accounted for and broken down into their 10 individual lots. And then the first dozen sets like this took me a good afternoon. The next set I break out, I will probably, like I said, break this quantity in half so I can get it into a standard postal envelope possibly, and just spend the 30 or 35 cents to send those out as opposed to a couple of dollars. I'd hate for these to cost more in postage than the actual cost of the pins. Shipping itself is quite honestly more expensive than the cost of the pins once it's all broken down, the fabulous deal that I received on all the pins. So that's how I've been spending my week. Thank you again to Albert Lebel. Oh, I do actually have one more package that I ordered online. I'm pretty sure I do know what this is because the cylinders I just ordered to occupy some space for all of these key pins, they have not had that order long enough to ship it out yet. So yeah, and the weight of this, I know exactly what it is if I can get into it. I see so many lock sporters have difficulty operating or safely operating a knife. I'm not going to be one to cast stones because I have difficulty operating crayons at this point. But we'll see if I can do this without injuring myself. I think it's kind of a common denominator. All of us being involved in lock sport, and the dexterity involved, the skill, yet so few of us can handle a knife or open a package without the fear of causing serious injury. Wow, they taped that up pretty good. Which I'm not going to complain about something being packed up or taped up good. I've received so much email or so much eBay and postal mail that it's just thrown in an envelope, or the envelope's torn and the item contained within it is missing. It's a shame, but so many people in their auction sites and their online sales sites, they're just interested in getting it out there and selling it. They don't care about actually shipping it out. This, at first I thought it was a disc detainer lock when I was looking at it, and with the release of the new Sparrows pick that was designed by Bosnian Bill and the lockpicking lawyer, A lot of people have been looking at the disc detainer locks, but I don't have any disc detainer picks. I will get some eventually. I'm looking into it. I have a particular fondness for a couple of manufacturers that I'm still contemplating. But this turns out to be a dimple lock, a rather large, beefy, very heavy weight. It feels great. The bitting, I don't know because I do not have, this is only the second dimple lock I possess, so I'm not particularly familiar with them. Oh, dead shackle? Is it? I don't know. Well, I don't know. It may not even work out of the box. I might have to play with this a little bit to see what's going on. Let me try a different key. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's a little sticky. It looks like there's some grease in there binding it up a little bit, but it is a dead shackle and a dead core. But yeah, that's a beast of a lock. I expected a little bit more of a cheap Chinese variant, but I'm kind of happy with that. So looking forward to playing with my first couple of dimple locks here. I'm quite content with that, actually. It's much larger and heavier and appears to be a better quality than what I expected. But I've rambled on long enough. Thank you all so much for tuning in and watching. Stay safe out there. I hope everybody's well. And I look forward to talking to you again real soon. Thanks once again to Albert Lebel and Jason and Kim at S&E Lock and Key. And hopefully I'm able to leave tags to their channels as well at the end of this video. Thank you.